Tonight, we're going to be talking about that Distortus Rex and, of course, the Empire article. There's a lot to discuss there, I think. I haven't read it yet. All that and more. I am Brad Jost, and this is Let's Talk Jurassic. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Let's Talk Jurassic Park Podcast live stream. We've got a lot to do over here, so I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. We have a lot to do, and I have to read it. I have to do a lot of reading, so I appreciate you, like, maybe looking past all of the reading errors that happen eventually, because if you've watched these before, you know I'm going to be messing up like 15,000 times. But I appreciate you all returning back for another live stream here tonight. And of course, if you're new here, welcome. This is what the show is. You never know what you're going to get. Who knows? But if you're lurking out there, you keep doing you. That's good. I would be doing the same thing. But yeah, so I didn't get a chance to really share this around too much tonight, but what's going on, Steve? How's the Rebirth? Let's check it. Let's check the countdown. I got to see if I can install like a countdown in this. We've got 56 days to go as of this recording right now. 56 days to go. Under 2 months. Heck yeah. What's up, Raptor Lover? Yeah, some Andor talk here. It's a bit of a huge time for Jurassic and Star Wars. Yep, especially, I read that backwards, especially with episodes 8 and 9 of Andor. Season 2 was just a masterpiece. The emotion was high. I mean, episodes 1 through 9 so far, but like 7, 8, and 9 together were emotionally draining, horrifying, real, a nightmare, and just incredible. Yeah, so got a lot to discuss. I won't be recording that tonight, but I will be recording that hopefully tomorrow for the Force cast, so keep your ears on the feeds for that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into some of the stuff here tonight. So let's go over to JurassicParkPodcast.com. The only episode that I uploaded last week, or this week, but not last week, this week on Monday, 2 days ago, was a reshare of my live stream last Thursday night. And you know what? I do like getting Aaron on the podcast feed still. You know, we don't really do the Jurassic Wire all that much. And he doesn't necessarily come on here to talk a lot about Rebirth, but we did it anyway. We still talked about Rebirth. So go check out that episode if you did not watch the live stream for the first Thursday Mattel Beyond the Gates episode. Go check that out on the podcast feed as well. But yeah, that was our release this week. But we do have another episode coming out very soon, so keep your eyes peeled. Not very soon, but next week. I don't know why I said very soon. On Monday, I already recorded it. It's with Caleb Burnett, and we're going to be talking all about Alexandre Desplat and the score for Jurassic World Rebirth. What we know so far, what we think. We're going to take a look. We did take a look at a lot of the past recordings and different things that Alexandra has done. So please go check out that episode when that airs next Monday, or this coming Monday. I got to get all my times and dates squared away. I don't even know what day it is. Where are we? Who is this? Who am I? But we've got a lot to discuss tonight. I'm going to dive into the Empire article, or I think so. Let's start there. I do want to talk about the Distortus Rex. I imagine all the same commentary is in this, but yeah, that was the one thing I was like, what should we talk about? I've got a fake Twizzler here, so I'm not going to eat it, but I kind of want to because it's tempting. It's just like a fidget thing. But I really wanted to talk about the Distortus Rex because that came out, I think, like the day after our last live stream, so I didn't really get to talk about it too much, other than that live stream where Aaron just didn't like it. But I wanted to talk about it tonight just to kind of get some other thoughts. But first, I wanted to go over to Blue Sky, and we're going to take a look at Mozamil had the heart to put everything out there, the time, the energy, the kindness to do all this, so people could read this right away. But so this is over on Blue Sky. You can check it out there, probably some other places, but right over here. So thanks to Mozamil for putting this all together, if you're still here. But there we go. We've got the cover that we've seen before. Let me get this a little bit closer because I know the text is going to be tiny. All right, welcome to Jurassic World Rebirth. Yeah, why is it? Is there anything else to the? Oh, welcome into the wild, I guess. Okay. So this is Nick de Semlien. I don't know how to say your name. Semlien. Anyway, let's go into it. I have not read this, so let's go ahead and take a look together. First Jurassic trilogy ended in 2001. Yeah, we got that. Second ended in 2022 with the Ceratops marching with a herd. Dude, that scene in Dominion is incredible. And myself and Caleb talked about it in the upcoming episode. I love that moment. But yeah, so Hollywood must be fresh out of dinosaur juice, they say. No. Gareth Edwards, a filmmaker who has more experience with monsters than Van Helsing, is the man behind Jurassic World Rebirth. Okay, yep, we know that. The worst of the worst. You gotta prepare for the worst of the worst. I think they say that in the trailer. Not least, an unholy new creation called the Distortus Rex, something you won't find in the Natural History Museum. So yeah, is that confirmation for sure? I mean, I think it said it in some material that's on the screen. But Natural History Museum is in New York, at least I would assume that's the one that they're referring to. Our Dan Jolin had incredible access, spending days on the set and edit suite of Rebirth. Head to page 46 to find out from Edwards, Johansson, and more what they've been cooking up in that lab. Managed to contain the dinosaurs to only 10 pages of this issue. That's not enough for me. I want more pages. All right, so let's see. There's got to be more here. Into the wild. All right, so anything here? What is this picture? We've got half a picture here. Oops, where'd you go? The other half over here. That Kets looks pretty cool, gotta say. Dude, look at that like tongue. That's crazy looking. I like this a lot. Dude, it looks so good. Is this movie gonna look the best? I think Dominion looked pretty flawless. Like with the dinosaurs and everything. I know the first two, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, have their issues visually, but I think Dominion really nailed it. So this looks to be up to par with that. Obviously the versions are different, but I'm thinking this is gonna look really good. All right, so that's the first batch. Let's go on to the next batch here. We've got a T. What's that T for? This, beams Jonathan Bailey, is about as Jurassic as it gets. It is late September 2024, a few hours after sunset, and Empire has joined the actor on the backlot of Sky Studios L Street, where Jurassic World Rebirth is rounding off a full-pelt summer-long shoot. Bailey's not wrong. We're hit with an overwhelming sense of familiarity. There are tall wire fences signposted. Danger, 10,000 volts, which stand in front of thick tropical foliage. There's the presence of an electric Jeep. Despite a new paint job, bears that classic Rex skeleton logo. And most pertinently, there are carnivorous dinosaurs. Tonight, says Bailey with a grin, the Raptors are out. I like that. I don't know why I went for like a noir style there. The cameras are rolling, blah, blah, blah. His character, intrepid paleontologist Henry Loomis, the bespectacled actor, steps forward intently. He's grimed up and sweat-soaked like his fellow cast members, Scarlett Johansson as military specialist Zora Bennett, Mahershala Ali as her seasoned comrade, there we go. That's the way to say that word. Comrade Duncan Kincaid, and Rupert Friend as Martin Krebs, the morally suspect company man who's bankrolled this expedition gone horribly wrong. Okay. Morally suspect. Morally suspect. You know, I was beginning to lean away from him quite a bit. I don't know, it just feels so obvious, right? Doesn't it feel obvious? I was kind of hoping that maybe there'd be a twist with that guy. You know, he's absolutely giving Dodgson vibes quite a bit, I would feel. Maybe this is like the Dodgson we never got, you know, that kind of the in-between years kind of Dodgson. Because we saw the beginning, we saw the end. I was kind of hoping for like that kind of vibe. Maybe we are, but then I started to think like maybe somebody else. Maybe he's like the obvious choice that maybe will, you know, they'll twist it and do something else. But maybe not. Maybe not after this comment here. Morally suspect. Together, the disheveled, shipwrecked family that's complicated their dino DNA harvesting mission on a remote Atlantic island. They stand frozen in fear on the forecourt of a long-abandoned gas station as the velociraptors approach. Interesting. All right, so they're hanging out on a forecourt. What's that mean? Like the front of the court? Was there a basketball court there? I don't know. Of a long abandoned gas station. Yeah, we've seen. All right, so long abandoned. That's good to know because we've seen the image somewhere. I don't know where that came from. I forget. But there was an image of Manuel Garcia Rolfo kind of hanging out in a gas station, what it looked like a convenience store. And I think we were all kind of wondering, like, how long has that convenience store been in operation? Is it operating? Is it dead? Has it been long gone? Like, is it abandoned? And it was, yeah, I feel like it was in that kind of in-between place where you couldn't really tell. But we've got the information right here, a long abandoned gas station as the velociraptors approach. Or rather, the Raptors stand-ins. A pair of performers stalking forwards in black bodysuits, their heads bobbing beneath long-snouted helmets detailed with the deadly predator's distinctive features. Friend points his pistol at them. Oh, Friend. Okay, that was very confusing. Rupert Friend points his pistol at them. They pause, spooked, then back away, disappearing into the misty night. Yeah, you better run! Friend yells out. Friend yells, but Bailey cautions him. No, that wasn't the gun, he says. It was something else. We might be back on familiar territory, but there's something new lurking in its flora. Something worse. Something even the Raptors fear. Okay. All right. So, using some clues here. I don't know what part of the movie this is, but they're at this gas station, and Rupert Friend. This happens often in movies. I feel like this just happened in something I watched recently. I can't put my finger on what it could have been. That typical thing where, like, you scare somebody, you think you scare somebody off, but then there's something big behind you that really did all the scaring. Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but yeah, that's kind of like a typical trope. So there's something else out there, something else very scary. Oh wait, I think it happened in Jurassic. Didn't it happen in Chaos Theory? I'm trying to think of like what moment it could have happened. But I feel like there was like a kind of like a raptor stopping moment where like somebody thought like, oh, I stopped them, but no, it wasn't. It was blah, blah, blah. It was like, I don't know, something else. I feel like it happened in Camp Cretaceous or not Camp Cretaceous, Chaos Theory. But anyway, there's something lurking in the woods out there in the jungle. So that's interesting. So I'm assuming that means the D-Rex is out there in the jungle. So piecing together what we know so far, right? We've got an opening sequence, which if to be believed is that opening lab score moment from the beginning of the movie. We've got the lab sequence with the D-Rex maybe eating a person, whatever happens there. That'll be the inciting moment of the movie. Then we cut to Zora in New York recruiting people or something like that. Then we go to the what is the place? Wherever the bar is that Duncan Kincaid is at, and then from there, I think we go on that boat, and then we pick up the family at some point or whatever. Then they all attack the boat, and then we head to the island. That's what I'm trying to think. And then maybe from that point, from like a little while into the movie, then we're at this gas station, and they know something bigger is out there, but they don't know what it is. Because based off of this, it doesn't sound like he knows. It's something else. So, I don't know if Jonathan Bailey... I feel like Jonathan Bailey, does he know something that the rest of the people don't know? I don't know. But let's move on. It's really a horror film, says Gareth Edwards. His still boyish features poking out from atop of a long raincoat. Okay. He's talking here about the original Jurassic Park, but the fact he's talking about... Oh, okay. That was confusing. So he's talking about the original Jurassic Park. It's really a horror film. See, I disagree. Gareth. I know you're at the heart of it right now, but I very much disagree that it's like a horror movie. It's an adventure movie, sci-fi a little bit with elements of horror or elements of action, things like that. There's elements of different things. So to me, it's not a horror film. It's a beautiful film. It's a adventure epic film that has elements of horror. That's to me. So Gareth, I got to kindly disagree with you there. So let's see what else he says. Maybe he says that. But he says, but the fact that he's expressing this while in the midst of making his own Jurassic movie suggests to Empire that his mission statement for Rebirth 2, it's a sort of horror you enjoy, rather than the stuff that will traumatize you forever, he continues. Like the way people enjoy fairground rides. But it's full on darkness, right? Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of fairground rides either. Those are truly horrifying. If you go to a county fair or a traveling kind of fair kind of thing, a carnival, it's horror. It's straight up horror when you get on one of those attractions. You don't know, is it going to topple over? Are you in trouble? Who knows? But that is a fair comparison, I think, there. Aside from his previous gargantuan creature features, Godzilla, Rogue One. Let's see what else we got here. We got, I still don't, is there any information on that picture? I don't know what this T is supposed to be. But let's take a look at this picture. I feel like we've seen this picture a little bit, kind of. Just trying to see what's on the screen. Just looks like trees, jungly. Oops. Let's not skip ahead. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, okay, it's the same one. Wow, I don't know if you heard that, but that was Netflix starting in the other room. That was very loud, Kelly. Here we go. We've got Zora falling off. Is this gun like warped? It looks like pretty bent already. I guess he's probably shooting at or trying to hold on or whatever. She's got her finger on the trigger, quite literally. This is this sequence here. I don't know how to read that. The Nuniaton. Is that what that says? Born filmmakers, Jurassic fervor and knowledge make him especially qualified to take on its sixth sequel. He reflects fondly on first seeing the 1993 original when he'd just turned 18. Man, Gareth was 18? Man. There's a dotted line in history of cinema before and after Jurassic Park, he says, and in his own life too. Jurassic Park's groundbreaking photoreal creature CGI was one of the reasons he went to work in visual effects before striking out as a director. Oddly enough, the day Edwards read that Universal was looking for someone to helm the latest in the series, Bullet Train's David Leitch, having declined an offer, he'd just finished rewatching Jurassic Park for the umpteenth time while taking copious notes. I like that. I like that vibe. That's a good vibe, Gareth. Taking your notes. I just rewatched episodes 7, 8, and 9 of Cassian, sitting there taking my notes again. So yeah, I get that vibe 100%. He says, I do that now and again with films I really like, where I try to analyze them and see where they're good. I want to see those notes, dude. Gareth, shoot them my way, man. I'd love to see them. Hit my inbox, JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. He forwarded the news article to his agent with the message, is this stupid? Only to find out producer Frank Marshall, who made the previous 3 Jurassic Worlds, had already got in touch with to gauge Edwards' interest. Yeah, he better have. Come on, dude. Oh, I should have just read this one, dude. That one's so much better. That was so much better looking. I know you said you zoomed in on some of them. All right, let's go to this next one here. Frank Marshall has this quote up here. Dude, that image is fantastic. This is a new era of Jurassic World. We wanted to reinvigorate the franchise. A new era. Okay, I know they've been going on that mantra for a little while now, right? The new era of everything. So, you know, I've been questioning that a lot recently as far as like, what is the goal? What is the reason for this movie? What are we doing? Where are we headed to? Because it seems like we're shutting everything in and then kind of expanding from there. I don't know where they're going though. So is this going to be a new era of Jurassic World? That's what Frank Marshall has to say, at least. This image is very good. Absolutely loving this vibe here. Is this a shot from the film? Is this a camera shot? I don't know. But it looks incredible. The vibes are flawless there. If you got fog in a Jurassic movie, dude, chef's kiss. That's amazing, dude. I love that. So we got Rupert Friend there, Duncan Kincaid as Mahershala Ali as Duncan Kincaid, Zora Bennett, 10,000 volts. It says, although Marshall confesses he wasn't at the time aware the director was a fan. He'd simply approached him, he says, because Gareth's a fantastic visual stylist who had all the elements we needed in order to do this movie the right way. After reading and loving the script by David Koepp, who's returned to Jurassic Park, or World, as we know it, or as it's now known. For the first time since writing the first two, Steven Spielberg directed movies. Edward found himself in a room with Primo Park Keeper himself, Spielberg. Spielberg is an executive producer on this film. Edward says here, the only thing I can compare it to is having shown George Lucas around the set of Star Wars film. We read that recently. Yeah, what an incredible thing to have done. Show George Lucas, which, by the way, my son was reading the Little Golden Book. I'm throwing you under the bus, Link. He was reading the Little Golden Book tonight of Harrison Ford, which we just got in the mail. And he gets to the part where, like, he's found for American Graffiti, Harrison Ford, and my son goes on to say, well, what did he say? He called him, oh man, I think I have the audio here. Let me, because I was just so happened to be filming him when he said this. Let's see. Gergo Lacus. He said American Graffiti directed by Gergo Lacus. And I'm like, look, I know you're trying to figure out how to read. But Gergo Lacus, dude, it's George Lucas. Oh my gosh. You got to get it right. George Lucas is an icon. So tangent there. But how cool is that? Gareth Edwards, obviously had to shoot Rogue One and maybe not finished it, but showing George Lucas around that set is awesome. So he says, I definitely believe I'm in the Matrix. I choose film director as my simulation because that shouldn't really happen. For his part, Kep was very pleased that Spielberg and Edwards hit it off. Gareth is terrific, the writer says. He's such a great match for this. While he doesn't quite follow Edwards' horror movie take, Kep does concur that Rebirth looks back to the original film, while even it leaps forwards. Yes, me and David Kep, dude, we are on the same page, man. 100%, we're on the same page, me and David Kep. Come on. Obviously, he doesn't quite follow Edwards' horror movie take. Me either, dude. Appreciate it, but we don't see eye to eye on that. He says, we decided early on, because the first and second trilogies have concluded their stories, let's not restrict ourselves in any way. Let's have all new characters in all new location. Okay, so David Kep kindly disagree also that they've wrapped up their stories. I mean, they did, but like the Jurassic Park trilogy was more easily wrapped. I mean, they're obviously, we've got pteranodons flying out in the wild, and you can expand upon a lot of stories, I think, within that original trilogy, but those stories were quite contained. They were very small in terms of like, it's whatever is just happening on this island or this island or this island. That's it. There's nothing really world-shattering about those stories. So Jurassic World comes around and then really does like world-shattering stories, kind of like one after another, with like human cloning kind of stories, and now dinosaurs in the wild. So I feel like dinosaurs in the wild was never fully realized, right? And we kind of left it there with expectations like, oh man, we could see what happens with dinosaurs in the wild. So, man, disagree with that, and I can't believe they just took it in a different direction completely there with the dinosaurs in the wild. So he says here, when dinosaurs have struggled, or I guess he didn't say this, but when dinosaurs have struggled to survive in most human-habitated environments and regress to the equatorial regions after Dominion's climactic twin trilogy cast mashup. Okay. We're now meeting a whole new gang with no link to either Team Park or Team World, aside from a minor detail Bailey teases, which provides a connection between Loomis and Alan Grant. Which, if it's a minor detail, it's just going to be like, yeah, I studied under him or something like that. I'm sure he just studied under him, or he knew Billy or something, something small. I don't imagine it will be like, Alan Grant is my uncle. Why are you British then? Is he British in the movie? I feel like he is. The whole point, says Marshall, was to start a new era of Jurassic World. Clue is in the title. That's not even a clue. It's just straight up. We know. We get it. Yet this revitalization couldn't work without some early 90s DNA, Kep explains. Steven. Dude, again, that picture. So good. And this next picture is going to be fantastic as well. Steven. Look at that. Dude, that's so good. That's such a good shot. Like, everybody, I implore you to take a look at this image with me. And just look at how real it is. There's a boat there. There's waves that look absolutely real. The ocean. And straight up, a whale. Doing a backflop. Is that what we call that? I don't know. Doing that somersault twisty air thing in the middle of the air over the ocean. He's got those like streaks that are like you see on the bottom of like a whale. It's real, dude. Gareth Edwards found a real mosasaur, everybody. Here's the part from the article. They cut it and sent it to me directly. That's what it says. It says they found a real mosasaur in the wild, because that's real. There's no way you can tell me that's not real. That's real. That is a real mosasaur there, folks. So this is also the first Jurassic movie to be filmed with real dinosaurs. And I know it's not a dinosaur, but you know what I mean. But that looks so incredible. Newbie Gang just says the names. The Magnificent Mosasaur versus Duncan's boat, the Essex. Did we know that name before? I don't know. Unleash the Beast. Number 1, the T-Rex. Let's go to, we'll get back to that in a second. I want to finish this part. And Steven and I said, let's go back to the tone we're most comfortable with, which is closer to the tone of the first movie, although not in a nostalgic way. I don't like excessive nostalgia. Writing the script, he says, was just a ball. I went back and read Crichton's 2 novels again just to get myself back in the proper headspace. Yeah, here we go again. Johansson, who insists being in a Jurassic was my dream since I saw the first one when I was 11. She was 11? Dang. I mean, yeah. Let's see. While Rebirth's stripped-down mission movie narrative is more contained, she says, it harkens back to the first one, has a lot of good jump scares, the stakes are high. Bailey, meanwhile, describes the movie as a love letter to the OG Jurassic Park, to the extent that Edwards, for the first time in his career, shot on old-school 35mm rather than digitally. It really does feel like we're welcoming people to really celebrate the original film, says the actor. All right, so now let's go up to Unleash the Beasts, the T-Rex. When David Kep returned to Michael Crichton's source text for inspiration for Rebirth, one episode from the first book that stood out to him, a tense pursuit involving a river raft being chased by the T-Rex, it was a sequence Kep and Steven Spielberg wanted to include in the original movie, but it never got past the storyboarding stage due to budgetary concerns. Now it could finally be reborn. Both Steven and I said, hey, now we can do it, says the screenwriter. When I was rereading the novel, I told him, yeah, it's as good as we remember. We have to have this, because it was just a great idea for a scene, and if only one dinosaur character recurs, it has to be the T-Rex. In the edit suite, Gareth Edwards runs the entire sequence for Empire. It's still such a work in progress. We can see brief VFX free flashes, of its shooting location, Lee Valley Whitewater Center in Waltham Cross. It was freezing, says Edwards. I felt really bad for the cast. There's a great gag involving a self-inflating dinghy, and somehow a hungry T-Rex is even scarier when slowed by deep water. But this is a different breed of T-Rex than we've seen previously. Ooh, I like this part. Let's read it. Unlike Rexy from Jurassic Park and the previous World trilogy, it is bigger, beefier, and even surlier. If you were dinosaurs making a film, you wouldn't say, now here comes a human, and then we've got another human there. Here, explains Edwards in his own idiosyncratic way, you would say, here comes Robert De Niro, and there's Javier Bardem. The original Jurassic Park T-Rex is one actor. Now there's another. Or now here's another. Absolutely love that. That is fact, confirmation. Just, I love that. That's good. That's the way I see it. The fact that the T-Rex is a part of that story. It's a character in its own right. And while maybe this T-Rex maybe doesn't have a name like a Rexy or anything, maybe, who knows? It's another actor. It's another part of the film, just like it would be a cast member. Like that's very cool. I dig that. So this is the Javier Bardem of T-Rexes. Well, the place I tried to pull everything towards was the way people thought T-Rexes looked before we knew better, Edwards revealed. So we looked at some of the designs in Ray Harryhausen's films, like Valley of the Gwangi, feeling it would be sacrilegious almost to try and top the iconic near-perfect design of Rexy. All right, near-perfect? Get out of here, dude. Get out of here. It's near-perfect. I mean, it's perfect. Not near-perfect. Edwards instead decided to tap into his childhood like old Gwangi. The result, he says, is kind of how, as a kid, I always thought a T-Rex would look. I'm super happy with it. Okay. So let me just, obviously you can kind of envision what that would look like, but let's take a look. Let's see what we can find. Images. Let's go here, and go back to this one. Boom. So that was my main thought. Is this Rex going to be standing taller with the tail dragging? As far as I can recollect, it doesn't really feel like that's the case. But if it is like this, obviously it doesn't look like this, but if it is kind of standing tall like that with the tail down, that's also phenomenal. I get it, and I think a lot of people might hate that idea if that's possible, if that's what they're going for. But I love that because it just reaffirms that this is an island full of mistakes, the misfit dinosaurs, I think that would be really, really cool if they were to kind of do that vibe. Because other than that, I'm not really getting it. I'm not really seeing it. It has to be standing tall, right? I hope so. Going back here, let me just... Let's see if we can find some images here. See, yeah, this is the only thing that makes me question that, right? Is this shot, which is very much, I think, as it's maybe getting up from its slumber, and we're not really seeing it maybe at its height, because there is an image that was out there of, you can see the Rex behind those bushes there. I think I actually had it on my Instagram. Let me go over there real quick. Yeah, this image right here, which you can absolutely see it sleeping back there. So yeah, I think, oh, that's me in there. But I think If it is just kind of sleeping down there and then it just decides to get up, maybe, but there's no reference point, I think, as of yet. But I am interested in the T-Rexes. Like, what's the deal with them? Is there more than one, or is there just one? Is this the color scheme? Like, I'm kind of interested overall, but going back to the article here. Is that it there? Okay, yeah, and I'm super happy with it. Okay. You hope trailer 2 is tomorrow? I mean, that would be cool. That would be nice. I wonder. Oh man, I forgot to look. What happened with the Knicks? I did mean to pull it up on my phone. Oh my God, what? No way, dude. Did they really win by 1 point? No way, dude. Whoa. I'm sorry. I'm freaking out. That's crazy. They were down by 20 again, dude. And they came back and won again? Two games in a row, down by 20? Oh my God. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm freaking out. That's awesome. Anyway, moving on. Let's see here. Of course, to achieve all that shocking thunder and awe, there is one very special yet essential ingredient. Go colossal or go home. Spoiler alert, deadpans Edwards. But there might be dinosaurs in this. Hey, if you didn't know, getting this deep into the article, there's dinosaurs in this movie. You do happen to have dinosaurs in your dinosaur movie, right? Hello? Hello? I really do hate that, man. Where was I? It says we have rejoined the director in early March 2025 at his So-Home edit suite, where he and Jabez Olsen and ILM's David Vickery are pulling 7-day weeks to deliver Rebirth in time. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of work. Hopefully not overworked. Hopefully those guys are all getting paid well. Everything's all right there. But Olsen kindly cues up work in progress sequence he and Edwards have prepared for Empire's Hungry Eyes, set out on the Atlantic Ocean, but filmed largely in the same Maltese water tank used by Ridley Scott for Gladiator 2. It sees Zora and her crew dangerously close to a Mosasaurus. Blah 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 blah. To hit it with the DNA extracting dart gadget. The scene is bright, brash, splashy, and fun, with the sea beast in question exhibiting much more character than we've previously seen. It turns out, as wily as it is burly. Each dinosaur encounter, I'm sorry, I'm just reading this whole thing. This is my own, I was gonna read it anyway on my own time, but why not just do it here? You know? Why not? Let's just go for it. Where are I? Oh, no, I gotta hide that. I can't see. Each dinosaur encounter has its own vibe and style, says Edwards, who's cast as a greatest hits of old and new. The new include jet-sized pterosaur, the Quetzalcoatlus, a couple of towering titanosaurs, which are told get amorous, and a cute little Aquilops, think Triceratops crossed with meerkat. You can try that. I don't know. Does that work? No. But it befriends the youngest Delgado. There are mutants, horrific gene-spliced miscreations cooked up at a now deserted InGen facility 17 years earlier. Huh? What year is it in this movie? That's Jurassic World time, right? That sounds like Jurassic World time, which we did speculate quite a bit that would be not necessarily, obviously not Jurassic Park era, but if this movie's 2027, right, I would think, then minus the 17 obviously is just 2010, but Jurassic World, opened in 2005. So, what? So, 5 years, let's just say 5 years into Jurassic World, that's when they're like, okay, we need to start working on something else. It's only been 5 years this place has been open and people don't already care about dinosaurs, so we need to create some new things. So they go to maybe an old InGen facility from the original Jurassic Park, repurpose it, and then in 2010 they're creating dinosaurs, but they make up a bunch of mess ups and stuff like that, and that's what we end up seeing in this movie. And then they just abandon it, I guess. Was the D-Rex an attempt at the Indominus? Because I know that Diabolus Rex, or whatever it was called, like, that was the original name, right, for the like what the idea of the Indominus was. So is this kind of the D-Rex like first attempt at like the Indominus or something like this? Or well, no, but because that would be, didn't they attempt, I forget what the order of operations was, because when was the Scorpius, was that first before the Indominus or after? I think it was before, was it? I don't remember. But anyway, let's see. Those came from my strange mind, Kep tells us. We saw in some previous Jurassic World movies that their experiments made dinosaurs bigger, meaner, scarier. And it occurred to me and Steven that those can't all have gone well. This is a genetic experimentation. I could have just kept reading instead of doing math. But this is a genetic experimentation. Things are not going to work out sometimes. Or this is genetic experimentation. Alongside the lumbering trailer glimpsed Distortus Rex, we also meet the Mutodons. When? When do we meet them? Where do we meet them? These feathered fiends originated in an unexpected heart-and-mouth animal encounter Kep had while doing some DIY on his front porch. I saw these hideous little claws come out, and then this bat pulled itself up out of the hollow space in the column, he recalls. It was 3 p.m, so it was very irritated, and then stretched out its wings, which were skinny, scary, weird, and so they could wrap around your body twice. I thought, that's going in a movie. I like he's just like standing on his porch doing some work. He's like, oh, that's going in a movie. So a combination of pterosaur and raptor. So they can fly. Now we get why those regular raptors were so alarmed. Oh, okay. So it's not the D-Rex out in the wild. It's the Mutodons, dude. Okay. Let's see. Which brings us to the old camp, where the clever girls are naturally joined by T-Rex. But also Jurassic Park 3's fan favorite boss monster, the Spinosaurus. Okay, I think they're just saying maybe like these are the kind of returning dinosaurs. Oops, that's not. Oh, we're back to your page there. That's not where I was trying to go. Come on. Where was I? Yeah, I did want to see like a closer shot. I was already on this, but I wanted to go back to it, and now I can't click on it at all. So come on. What the heck? Let's get a reload. There we go. Is that a new shot? So I know a lot of people were saying like Parasaurolophus. I don't know. Does it have Parasaurolophus vibes? It's hard to really say. I feel like it's like extra big. Like it doesn't seem Parasaurolophus size to me. But maybe? I don't know. Does it say anywhere in this article? Like a Maybe the next one. What was the other page? Was there another page here? No? Not sure what the other top of this page is. What was I reading about? Let's go back here. Where were we? Oh, let's go up here. The Spinosaurus. Troublesome trio during the Mosasaurus sequence, which Empire can attest sends a love letter to a certain other Spielberg joint. You can't put a fin in the water and have it be a threat to people on a boat without thinking of a particular film. And I would feel really guilty about this, except for the fact that screenplay was given to me by Steven Spielberg. Jaws isn't the only non-Jurassic Spielberg riff Empire notices during our wanderings around L Street. Inside the gas station mini mart, for example, we spot I was going to say Devil's Tower. We spot a rack of Devil's Tower key rings, referencing Close Encounters of a Third Kind, and a magazine whose cover oddly celebrates the 18th anniversary of Back to the Future. Dude, if you give me Back to the Future in a Jurassic movie, if I get to see that, dead. Bye. Dead. More impressively, the set for the Quetzalcoatl sequence, there's a team trying to raid a clifftop nest, prehistory's largest flying predator, ancient Mesoamerican temple whose clinging vines and snarling stones bring to mind Raiders of a Lost Ark. I had to resist the urge to put in booby traps. I think that's where I was going. Booby traps. Winks kept. However, Edwards wasn't simply hired because he was a Spielberg fan. He says Marshall marked out for his visual style, the most recently highlighted by the creator, where he honed his fluid, light-footed, location-driven approach to VFX and world building, discovering moments in camera, then seamlessly augmenting them using CGI. In the edit suite, he asked the director how innovative methodology gelled with a 32-year-old franchise. I mean, this is obviously a giant machine, he says, but you have to lay the tracks in front of the train. But that said, we sort of met in the middle. There's a bit of handheld camera work in this film. I got to shoot some stuff a little more guerrilla-ish, where the actors could do whatever they wanted, and I try to find the beauty compositions in it as they did the scene. I felt that it gave a little bit of a realistic edge. The distinctive organic quality required the production to be as adventurous as its characters. I was super keen that we go to real locations, and I try to do as little on the backlot as possible. It says, let's go. Rupert Friend's strongest memory of Rebirth shoots involved being up to his neck. Yep, murky water. Oh, we don't touch that little red bug there. He recalls being told, why not? It's deadly. You'll die if you touch that. Okay, might have been good to know that before, but all right. Bailey, meanwhile, remembers there were really dangerous water snakes swimming past us, so fear, blah, 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 adrenaline, blah, blah. Yeah. I thought, this is brilliant. As Johansson puts it, the conditions were tough. Jungle is not an easy place to visit. I feel like this is all just stuff from other articles that we've already gotten. There's no escape from the sun in Malta. Just baking every day, and you're on this rig 30 feet in the air or whatever it is, and moving up and down and sideways, and there's all this water being shot out of these cannons towards you. It was brutal. To do it one day would be hard, but to do it continuously for like 6 weeks or whatever. Whenever he misses Malta, Edwards jokes, I just put some blue screen in the oven, turn it up to 400 degrees, and stick my head in it for a while because that's what it felt like. At the end of each day, I tried to reassure that tomorrow was going to be easier because of that reason. And the next day would be even harder for either precisely that reason or a brand new other reason. After a while, you just stop believing me. They just stop believing me. When you're wading through the mangroves, you see all these you see them all in wetsuits and they're submerged. It shows how everyone was literally neck deep in filmmaking. Gareth really wanted to include much of the human, the physical as possible, and I think it translates. We talked about our mutual love for films of the 70s and 80s, why these types of big action films felt better. Gareth's kind of obsessed with that. I think we recognize when we see someone going through genuine experience versus a simulated one. You can't stop the feeling of, what was that whining through my legs? What's landing on my head? What's flicking across the water just out of sight? Yeah, he's absolutely right. Like that's the way to go. Wait. Something it does physiologically, I think, in which the camera sees and gives to the audience. Kep agrees. It pays off because it looks not like a soundstage and not like a place we've been a million times before. We wanted to recapture the idea that we're in a dinosaur's environment. The last few movies were exploring the idea of, hey, what would it be like if they were in our environment? They did that very well, and we wanted to now explore how it felt to go back to theirs. I waited until we were on stage in London, and then I was like, hey, I'll come visit you guys. He said, we've read all this before. It smelled exactly the same as it did 30 years ago. So that was a little odd. He said, it's not inconceivable that should he choose to remain in the Jurassic arena he had helped build all those years ago, Kep will be inhaling the Protean scent of soundstage foliage for years to come. Though whether he'll be rejoining Zora's gang at least, or the ones who remain unmasticated by mutadons, or meeting a whole new crew remains unclear. Interesting. So maybe they're keeping the waters open for the future. He says, we're keeping both of those ideas in play. Let's say it that way. Hedges Marshall. But it's such a wonderful cast. I hope we can figure out what to do with them next. Edwards hasn't been involved in any Rebirth 2 talk. I haven't heard a single comment from anyone about sequels, he says, but I'm a great believer in just trying to make a great film and the rest will take care of itself. It feels like a blank canvas ahead. That's good to know. So they are keeping both options kind of available. Maybe we revisit some of these characters, maybe we don't. That's the kind of idea I like to hear. I love to hear that because that's the way the original trilogy was. We didn't just have to keep going back to these same characters movie after movie after movie, which I like those characters in the World trilogy, but I like the way that they were able to add so many new characters in each film because they didn't just bring back an entire cast again and then expand, an entire cast again and then expand. So they can do that, like bring in so many great side characters like they did in the Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. The point is less about what exactly will fill the canvas than the fact that there's still so much enthusiasm for it. Despite mixed reviews, Dominion bagged $1 billion. There's a magical nature to the Jurassic films that has always held. They were so massive, but they're not monsters. They're animals. I remember on the first movie, there was a rule that if you ever refer to them as monsters, you have to put $1 in the jar. They are animals. They have the motivation of animals. We see a lot of monster movies. The monsters usually have some malevolent streak, but dinosaurs follow animal rules like your dog might. Most importantly, they're not around anymore, so they're safe. They're safe, terrifying, exciting fantasy. And that's about as Jurassic as it gets. So there you go. There is some more, but But yeah, I the whole they're not monsters thing. Like I also kind of disagree there. I do feel like they are kind of monstery in that first movie, despite what they say there. But Unleash the Beasts, number 2, the D-Rex. Oh, I was confused by this opening tag here. It says the final scene Gareth Edwards plays for Empire in the Rebirth edit suite is actually the film's opening scene, set 17 years ago, so should be like 2010. It takes place at an InGen facility where hazmat suit wearing technicians have been tinkering with dino DNA, winding up with perhaps the nastiest, weirdest looking creature we've yet seen in the Jurassic series, the Distortus Rex, or D-Rex. Yeah, I guess it is probably one of the weirdest ones, that's for sure. Although in true horror fashion, the prologue only grants the briefest, shadiest glimpse of it, swathed in dry ice. You go into all this detail while designing it, and then it's like, okay, now let's hide it. And hide it even more. And leave it to the imagination even more. As soon as he read Kep's script, he could see the D-Rex he recalls in his peripheral visions. He thought, okay, I know what it looks like. I can imagine that. Similar to his T-Rex. What he imagined was drawn from some of his favorite childhood monsters. It's kind of like the T-Rex, if the T-Rex was inspired or designed by H.R. Geiger. He refers to Swiss surrealist creator of Aliens title Creature. And then, the whole thing had sex with a Rancor from Return of the Jedi. It's a design that I was really happy with. I'd like to buy the toy when it comes out. Gareth, I better see a picture of you with that toy when it comes out, please. Empire has allowed a good look at the six-limbed freak during a visit upstairs to the VFX floor, where the supervisor, David Vickery, is running through some process shots fresh in from ILM's San Francisco base. It's hard to improve on Edwards' description. It is truly a beast, though one which Edwards and Vickery hope will elicit some mixed emotions. So they're hoping for that. It's as if another animal has been wrapped around the T-Rex, says Vickery, about the bulbous-headed thing we see, whose little Rex 4 claws sit alongside a pair of burly gorilla-like arms. Gareth wanted us to feel sorry for it as well as terrified, because its deformities have caused it some pain, and there's an encumbrance to it. It's a bit like Sloth from the Goonies. Hey, you guys. Initially, you're horrified by something, but in the end, you empathize with it. Oh, they said, hey, you guys. I thought I was just adding my own mix here. It says, hey, you guys, prepare for mutant mayhem. That's cool. So, yeah. Interesting info on that during the part of the timeline. Yeah, for sure. You know, being 17 years ago, if this was 2022 when Dominion was out, then we go 5 years later. That makes it 2027, right? So then 17 years before that, 2010, Jurassic World opened in 2005. Jurassic World the movie was set 2015, 16, I don't know, somewhere in that time frame of Christmas a week after. I don't know. So that, you know, it says they've been open for 10 years. And they've obviously had some struggles with people wanting to go to the park. So this is that attempt to maybe bring something new and innovative in there. So it's got to be interesting to the point where, like, we can think about, which I'm sure they're not going to give us any of this kind of information. Like, I mean, it would be pretty awesome if this is like, this person here is Dr. Henry Wu. Like, why would it not be? Why would Dr. Wu not be here? He would be there, right? Like, he would have to be there at this facility in 2005. So that would be such a great way to open this movie, with a cast member, which, like, you know, they don't really give him a lot to do across the world trilogy, but, like, he's so you feel so like invested in a character over that time. He's probably got only a few minutes of screen time. But like, if they're trying to really create some new wild stuff, Dr. Wu would be there. I have no doubt about it. Whether or not he's in this movie is something completely different. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty interesting. We're getting a lot more information here. I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was about it. So, yeah, the D-Rex though, it's gonna be an interesting one. The fact that we feel bad for it, and I think, it's nothing new. I feel that way about literally every creation that they've made, every weird creation. When the Indominus is ultimately dragged into the water, I feel really bad in that moment because the way it was bred, the way it was born and handled and kept in captivity, they mentioned that in the movie. Like, of course it's going to be this way. The way they fed it, everything, it all stemmed into like how that dinosaur was acting throughout that movie. So I felt bad for it at the end of the day. And the same thing with like, less so maybe with the Indoraptor, but when it is impaled on the horns there, I feel bad for it. And the Scorpius is like literally a monster that didn't want to be created. That thing looks horrific, and I feel bad for that one too. So yeah, it's nothing new. And this one will be interesting to see how they handle that kind of portion of it. If it's in pain, if it like struggles to walk and to move, like something weird like that, it would be kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're getting a good picture of this movie again, while staying in those same like patterns that we're getting for this marketing material so far. We're getting the lab, we're getting the raft sequence, we're getting like the fields, we're getting those same beats over. The new one is the gas station, which, if you are kind of keeping your eyes on things, you have seen it a little bit already, but that's a new one, I guess, for a lot of people out there. But it still feels in line with a lot of the other stuff we have seen, so it doesn't necessarily feel like a whole big set piece reveal kind of thing. So I'm glad they're doing a good job so far. Who knows what's next? I don't know, but I can't wait. But there we go. Empire magazine, another Empire magazine book how was I gonna say that? Another Empire magazine article in the books. Another book, Empire magazine book in the magazines. Oh, how the turntables. Yeah. So there we go. That's how my brain works sometimes. I have to work myself through it, and then make fun of myself for doing that. But yes, I didn't really pay too much attention to the chats tonight, but I am ready for Rebirth. Absolutely. Bring it on. So there you go. Jurassic World Rebirth. Looks like one heck of a good time. But until then, please follow all of our other stuff. So go over to JurassicParkPodcast.com. You can see our latest episode, which is just a repeat of a live stream we had last week on Thursday. All about the Mattel's latest toys and Beyond the Gates, plus some of this news that you've heard here today, where they released like little articles about it. And then, of course, please go subscribe to my newsletter, my Substack, Brad Joe's Substack there. You can go to JurassicParkPodcast.com/newsletter. You can find us over on Spotify and all those places like that. We've got all our latest episodes. My other show, Grim Grinning Host, is over there. We have not recorded yet. We keep missing each other, so really hoping to get an Epic Universe episode out there. The Forcecast is out with the first 2 arcs for Andor. Go check out those, and we're recording the next one tomorrow. So arc number 3 will be out probably Friday. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And of course, I meant to go show this before, but I went away from the page. But I was on See Jurassic Right with Stephen Ray Morris talking about Gareth Edwards' Godzilla, which also has another tie to this movie with Alexandre Desplat, the composer now for Jurassic World Rebirth. So go check out our conversation with myself, Stephen Spielberg, Stephen Ray Morris. That's how highly I think of him. But yeah, go check out that episode on See Jurassic Right. But also, while you're out there, please go to our other places like Blue Sky, Jurassic Park Pod over on Blue Sky, and myself at Brad Jost at Jurassic Park Pod on Instagram. I'm on Letterboxd if you want to go follow me over there, Brad Jost. And if you have any thoughts or feelings on this article, on Rebirth at all, please let me know. 732-825-7763. You can go ahead and just leave a voicemail there, and I'll put it on a show or something like that. Or you can pick up your phone, record a voice memo, email that over to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com, and I'll add those as well. But yeah, that's about it. Nikolai is late to the party. Got to go rewatch. We are done. We are done over here. So appreciate you coming by, though. Watched on repeat. Thank you, Rod Balls. 420. Appreciate you being here. Season 3, Camp Cretaceous, was so dark and amazing. It really was. I gotta revisit that because I love the Scorpius Rexus. That was such a great show. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you this week. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe. And what do we do here?